Starting a small business requires determination and motivation. In the following video, attorney Steve Keister shares information on topics potential small business owners should consider when they're developing a business plan.
Hello, I'd like to chat with you a little bit about the legal ramifications of small businesses and how they're created and how they might be expanded. First of all, I think you need to understand that there are several different entities or ways in which you can set up a small business. The most simple is the sole proprietorship, and that's where you simply hang up your shingle and practice your business and collect your funds and then report that to the Internal Revenue Service as a sole proprietorship under your own Social Security number. That does not require any registration with the state of Ohio and does have some benefits to you. However, the most prominent issue with doing a sole proprietorship is the fact that your liability can extend to your personal assets. So if you're operating a business and as a result of the operation of that business, you have some issues that cause some liability, you want to limit your liability to the assets of that company. In a sole proprietorship, you are actually exposing your other assets, your home, your investments, and so forth. The second entity that's been long-standing is a corporation. A corporation has to be an entity formed through the Ohio Secretary of State in which you set up board of directors, officers, and stockholders, and that you must maintain a corporation book, and that corporation book must be maintained on an updated basis. The corporation would have a number of tax benefits and would also then limit the liability to the assets of the corporation in the event that you would have any issues concerning the operation of your business. The negative with the corporation is really twofold. One are the expenses in developing and maintaining the corporation, such as tax returns and keeping up the corporate books. And the second is a double taxation problem. So that if you had significant income from the corporation and your expenses were less than the total income, the net profit would be taxable to the corporation, and then when it was expanded to you as a shareholder, you would have to pay tax on the dividends from the corporation. A third entity, and really it's the entity of primary choice in today's legal economic situation, is called a limited liability company. A limited liability company is also an entity that's registered with the Ohio Secretary of State, but the limited liability company combines the best of both worlds in that, number one, you do limit your liability to the assets of the company in the event there's any issues within the business, such as car accidents or significant bad business development, something of that nature. A positive with the limited liability company also would be the fact that your taxes are passed through directly to you. So your accountant or your tax preparer would actually prepare a tax return for the limited liability company, but that company would not pay taxes and you would pay the sole taxes on that entity as opposed to having an exposure to a double taxation. Folks come in to see me about starting a business, but sometimes they'll come in about expanding their business. They might be a sole proprietorship now, but they've really developed into where they have employees and they have people on the road with vehicles making deliveries or making service calls. And in that situation, the expansion from a sole proprietor to a corporation to a limited liability company can be made. You already have some things in place, your various permits and the items that you would have as far as setting up your taxes and so forth. But you would need to expand that, again, register with the Ohio Secretary of State, consult with your accountant or CPA, because that's going to indicate some much more complex tax issues. I encourage anyone who is seriously thinking about setting up a business entity to really set up sort of a team. The team should consist of an attorney who could give you advice as to the starting of the business and what might best fit your needs, a banker such as Citizens National, who I work with quite often. You're also going to want to talk to an accountant about the tax ramifications. Sometimes it's better to be in a corporation than a limited liability company for tax reasons, and that should certainly be discussed. and finally your insurance agent, because the fact that you're trying to limit your liability does not preclude the fact that you should have insurance, because even as your corporation grows, you don't want those assets exposed to any liability in the future, so certainly insurance. So when you look at the total package of setting up a business entity, I believe it should be a team effort, and the legal aspects of it should be something that need to be reviewed so that you can feel comfortable with what you're doing.
Starting a small business requires making key financial decisions and completing a series of legal activities. I invite you to stop in so we can discuss your business plan and create a financial package specifically for your small business needs.